Right, good evening, everyone. FridayNightVictors.com. This is Chris Schultz along with Gary Hoff. We are at 98.3 Nash Icon, and we are doing our wrap-up show for Week 4. It was a good week for football.
Yeah, great week.
We both got out. It was a pretty nice night, a little humid. And anyways, we're going to talk about the games. And we want to throw out a quick something about our sponsors.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, very good.
I'll
I think
do
I caught
that.
Gary by surprise.
No,
That's okay.
no, you didn't. Sponsors, yeah, Little Vinny's in Newport, Vince's, Point of Pole Road, and Dixie. Best chili dogs in town. Dollar Dogs on Mondays. Go see Jeff Harrington over there.
Yep.
And also Level Up Training, John Carabino over at off Stewart Road there.
Fantastic.
Does a great job.
Total Sports.
Total Sports, yep, on Stewart Road. And Gerwick Nissan. Go see John Gerwick over there. He, want to get a beautiful car.
Buy a car,
great,
people.
Great lease deals.
We all have cars.
Definitely check out Gerwick. Give them a chance. They'll beat anybody.
And then
Who
Varsity
else we got?
Athletic.
Varsity
with,
Athletic.
Randy Wyndham.
Yep. Thank you, Randy. He passed out some of those shirts. They're flying off the shelves.
They are.
So-
They are. Matter of fact, you got to make sure you give me an extra large. We got to send it out to
Yeah.
a donor.
Yeah, we sure will.
So, all right, let's dive into football. We'll fly through these games because we got to keep the show 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Carlson 49, Melvindale 0. It was 49-0 at halftime. Jack Jarmo did a nice job of just keeping the score down, but Brandon Stewart runs for a couple of TDs. Thoughts on this, if any?
Yeah, Melvindale's not on the level of Carlson. I think we thought the game would at least be that.
Yeah.
So, easy win. Again, Carlson has two tough ones left in Wyandotte and Allen Park. So, they're just...
And Allen Park put a whooping on Wyandotte.
On Wyandotte, yeah. That was a little bit surprising.
I think it was like 30-14 or something like
Yeah,
that. It was
that was
pretty
a little-
impressive
It
score.
was a real good win for Allen Park.
Okay, next up, Whiteford 65, Whitmore Lake
Yeah.
0. I thought they were going to go 100-0, but
Yeah,
I mean,
They could have.
Coach Mensing isn't going to do that to
No,
anyone.
no.
And it's the same type of thing, showed a lot of class, but they literally scored every time they had the ball. What do you do?
Well,
They're just
They're
a machine.
They're a juggernaut, and who's going to beat Whiteford? I can't come up with anybody.
I just hope they drop to Division 7 so we could see them play some of our local teams here.
We'll see.
Next was Saline 31, Bedford 26. Saline had led this 31-12.
Right.
Christian Brown of Bedford rushed for over 230 yards. Thoughts on this game? Does this mean the Mules might be a little better than we thought, or?
I think both Saline and Bedford are probably a little bit down from what they normally are, but they're both still good teams.
Good programs,
Yeah.
good coaches.
And I think Saline will make the playoffs. I think Bedford can still get there. They might not lose another game. I think the Monroe game's going to be huge.
Yeah, and I mentioned on the blog that Bedford
Yeah.
might be out of losses.
They might be.
They've got 3. Maybe they got to win out. Monroe stands in the way. Pioneer.
Yeah, there's
teams
gonna probably be 10 Class A teams at 5-4 to make the playoffs.
They could be one of them.
So they could be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good showing by Bedford, nonetheless.
Okay. A game I had no idea took place, and I apologize, was Summerfield 27, Britton Deerfield 10. Does anyone in Petersburg even read our blog?
I
Because
think
we
so.
had no updates. I knew nothing. And it wasn't until I looked on MHSA.com
Yeah.
and saw the scores. I'm like, oh, they did play.
I thought it was Saturday myself, but
But it was Friday. But Brendan's Sepekis threw for nearly 200 yards. The Bulldogs get the win. Thoughts?
I think Summerfield's a playoff team. They're a good program over there. They play solid football. I think they can they got a shot to get to 6 wins, I think, Summerfield.
Yeah, I think you're right. Next up, we got Hudson 44, Mason 22. They doubled up the Eagles. I think we kind of expected that. At least I did.
Yeah.
You made the call for Mason.
I was going for Mason, but it was 24-22 at halftime. It was obviously a game at half, and the defense and offense apparently didn't score in the second half. Just let Mason down a little bit.
Yeah, and I still think they're a year away. They play a lot of young players.
Yeah.
Let's dive into Monroe 39, Ann Arbor Skyline 7. Jared Banks had his first real big game this year running the ball. He ran for 260 yards. They got a lot of that out of him last year, but this was kind of his breakout game. Thoughts on Monroe? They're what, 3-1 now, and we thought they could be 4-0, 5-0 to start the season.
They have Huron next week, and that should be a W. And I think you're going to see a lot of Jared Banks from here on out. I think that's the recipe
Well, and I think
You know,
he's their best player.
he's their best
They
player.
have a lot of very, very good players, good linemen, other skill people, but I think he's their best player, and teams are going to line up to try and stop him.
Yeah.
So maybe his stats won't look what they.
Yeah,
You know.
you hand the ball to Banks behind Schnorberger and Brown, and let those big boys do their thing. And Banks is very capable. He doesn't need a big hole. He's a very, very good running back.
He's a very good running back.
Yep.
Next, we had the Airport Jets 41, Jefferson 7, Air Duffy,
Yeah.
Luke Goings throwing for 230 some yards. The Jets have always been kind of a running team, but they're really airing it out. Thoughts on this game?
Well,
As they even the record at 2-2, and
yeah, they're starting to find themselves, Airport, and we're getting a lot of comments on the blog from the Airport fans, as they do. We love the Airport fans.
they've always been one of our biggest
definitely
followers, and we appreciate them.
We do. And sometimes we go back and forth with them, but it's all in fun. But
Sure.
yeah, we've said it more than once. Airport is a team that could beat anybody in the Huron League. And
I agree with that.
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we are going to find out. They hit the meat of the schedule now.
Yeah,
the
we're
Huron
gonna
League
find
schedule.
it. Gets real quick, but they had these two last games to kind of get themselves right, and they did.
Sounds
And,
like they have.
Let's
Yeah.
see what happens here going the next few games.
All right, next was Groseal 35, Huron 7. Johnny Blanzy, I have him down here for 19 tackles. He actually had 15 tackles. He kind of led them. He's got 69 tackles in 4
Yeah.
games. Talk a little bit about Blanzy. You saw him against Airport. I saw him against Gable Richard. The kid was everywhere.
Yeah, he's a
Great
little bit.
player.
He's a little bit like Cousineau from SMCC.
Mhm.
Just a physical kid, likes contact, sideline to sideline. Puts his helmet on people, and he's a big kid. So he pushes. When he makes a tackle when the surge goes the other
Yeah,
way.
it's-
You always know it's him that made the tackle.
And he's not overly fast, but he's fast enough. I
Right.
always think of Chris Spielman.
Yeah.
They asked him his 40 time. He goes, I just know I'm quick enough to get that guy to
Right.
the sideline.
Yeah.
I think that's the type of player Johnny Blancy
Groseal
is.
4-0.
Atop the Huron League,
Top the
all
Huron
by
League,
themselves.
and no one's talking about him. So again,
We are.
we're talking about him, and like Airport, the tougher teams are starting to come up. Well, we think are the tougher teams anyway. They're going to get a real chance to prove themselves here.
Well,
real
and I
short.
think Groseal's schedule laid out nicely for them.
Sure did.
Because next week they got Flat Rock coming up,
Mhm.
who's 1-3, solid team, but probably the easier of the 4 remaining games in the league, I would say. Depends on the matchup. Next was Riverview 38, Milan 20. I don't think the score was really as close as that, even though it ended up 18. Fullback Joe Johnson had 110 yards, 3 TDs. Every time I turned around, I was getting a tweet that this kid was scoring another touchdown.
Right.
The's not much to him. He's
No,
not a very big kid.
he's
He's
150, 160 pounds maybe. He runs hard though. I asked. I didn't know who he was, and I asked a few people, "Who's this number 8?" And I said, "That's Joe Johnson." And yeah, because I noticed when he runs that trap play, he hits the hole and with some speed and some aggressiveness and
Feisty.
Yeah, he's feisty. There you go.
tough to bring down for a kid his size.
Yeah, and you saw that this week against Mount. I'm a little bit surprised at that score. This was probably the game of the week. Maybe certainly in the Huron League.
I picked Milan, and it wasn't even
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
And Milan turned the ball over a little bit. I know I had posted on the blog that I think Milan would like to play them again, and everybody was all over me.
Yeah.
But I think Milan would really like to play Riverview.
Sure, well, of course.
It's
Falcons
just,
would like to play Milan again, but
Maybe
that's
so,
not
yeah.
going to happen. But yeah, it's 2 good teams, and one team just apparently played very well.
yeah. All right, next is the game that you were at, and
Yeah.
you were the call on 98.3 Nash Icon, the color guy. SMCC 28, Flat Rock 27.
It was just the one heck of a football.
Yeah, SMCC, Flat Rock scores a touchdown on last
Right.
play of game, right?
Right.
Time expires.
Yes.
They go for 2. Big stop by the Falcons to preserve the win. 2 big players for each team. You mentioned one earlier, Sam Cousineau, who runs the ball. Cousineau, Cousineau, I have no idea. Cousineau. I'm sorry, I butcher these names.
Yes.
But he runs the ball. He's a heck of a linebacker. And then on the other side, you've got Ravion Davis, who's someone compared to the old Texas quarterback that won a national championship. Vince Young type. Talk
Sure.
about those 2 players in the game.
Yeah, Cousineau's the heart and soul of the Falcons, and he showed that. Things were really looking bad for SMCC, 21-12, and his emotion and his heart for the game just kind of turned it around for SMCC, and the tide turned. Like you said, SMCC scored with 30 seconds left in the game to take the lead. Flat Rock came running. 30 seconds left in the game. Flat Rock scored a touchdown. Ravion Davis
with the throw,
was
right?
the
He had
key,
that,
but yeah, was the key. But he's the key for everything they do, really. Everything feeds off of him. And
Is he the truth too?
He's the truth. Dotson too, maybe. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's very, very good, and I was impressed with him. I was impressed with the entire Flat Rock team.
That's a good 1-3 football team, isn't it?
It is a really good one.
They could win out,
They
I
could
think.
win out.
Obviously, they got a tough one with Grosale.
I've said that they are going to win out, but as you mentioned, it may be tough to bounce back from these losses like this. They feel they probably should have had at least one of these games.
I think so, yeah.
And but
Probably that
we'll
one
see.
there.
Coach Ream's a heck of a coach. His job is to keep this team focused, and I think he'll do it.
Okay. And then our last game was the game I was at. I traveled out to the Ida Dundee game, and I said to someone there, I think it was the first time I bet.
Was that the
at-
Gerwick Nissan game of the week?
I think that was
I
the
think it
Gerwick
was,
Nissan
yeah.
game of the
Gerwick,
week. You're right.
yeah.
I was at Ida for the first time since I played high school football.
Okay.
Way back. in the day.
1972.
It wasn't that long ago. It would have been, I don't know, 82 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
Ida 20, Dundee 3. A game that was probably closer than the score. Big rivalry game, so there was a big crowd there. Obviously, implications in the LCAA. Dundee drops to 3-1. Ida improves to 3-1. I think the difference, I talked about this on the blog, the difference was Ida's team speed. Dundee did some great things defensively, and I thought did a good enough job to win the game. It's just their offense, the way they threw the ball the week before against Hudson. Some of those plays just weren't open because Ida has so much speed back there. I mean, they're a very fast team, and they had a key interception at the end of the first half, down around the goal line, returned it out, and then they had a big play. I think it was on 4th and 9, and one of their good backs went 30, 40 yards for a touchdown and kind of broke the game open. Any thoughts? I mean, I know I was
think
there.
the bottom
but
line is that these are two good football
two
teams.
very good football teams, two well-coached teams.
We thought Ida was very good. We weren't sure about Dundee. We figured they're a good team. How good are they? We didn't know.
This solidified it
Yeah,
for me. I think
so.
Dundee's good.
Dundee's very good, and I think they have a real shot to make the playoffs. I think 5 gets them in. These are two good football teams. There's no doubt about it.
I agree. All right, well, that's it. That wraps up our Week 4 wrap-up. We'll be back in the next couple of days. We are going to have our Week 5 picks, and we'll go from there. Gary, any last words?
I have nothing.
Me neither. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Let's call it an evening.
9:30 at night.
Once again, it's Chris and Gary with FridayNightVictors.com. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel, please.
Help us out.